Hi there and welcome back to my channel. This is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video we're discussing Our Father's Burden, written by William F. Gray. It's a horror. Now it's about father's burden in the plural, so more than one father. It's a creature horror, and every character in this book has a traumatic past or is experiencing trauma in the present narrative. Every character. And when it's every character in the book, it becomes overdone and too much, in my view anyway. You need some difference in the story. You need some balance. To have every character with trauma, experiencing that, grief and trauma and all those negative things, all those powerful things as well. You need some balance. You need a bit of light somewhere, to balance it out a bit. It became too much for me in this story. Start off the story with Harry, one of our characters, at his father's funeral. And after the funeral, his mother hands him a box. In this box is a note and also cassette tapes. Now, for people too young to remember or know what cassette tapes are, we used to record and listen to music on cassette tapes. It's like a videotape. And if you don't know what videotapes are, they were before DVDs. So cassette tapes were before CDs, videotapes before DVDs. Look it up on Google if you want to, and you'll find out how fun it was to wind back the tape on a cassette tape if it became unwound. So we used to listen and record to music on cassette tapes. Anyways, given this box of cassette tapes and a last wish. And the last wish is he needs to go on a camping trip with people he knew, people he was friends with once when he was a teenager and a child. And these people he was friends with were all sons of fathers who were friends. So they're kind of forced to being friends when they were children and teenagers. They're not so much friends now. They kind of know about each other still now, but they're not close friends. But they're all going and meeting at this camping site where they used to camp in the woods with their fathers. The best part about this book is when they're in the woods camping and they're suddenly attacked by something in those woods. We don't know what it is. We assume it's a creature of some sort. We don't know what. They're the best moments in the book because you're wondering. You're surprised and shocked to begin with because those moments are so quick and fast, and the characters are confused and they're frightened, they're afraid, almost terrified as well, and they're wondering what it is. They don't know what it is. And I won't tell you all the things that happen in those moments, but they're quite horrifying and traumatic in a way as well. So another part where we've got trauma in the story. But anyway, those moments are the best moments in the story. When you don't know who the creature is, you don't know what's going to happen, the best moments by far. And in a way, those moments reminded me of the book called The Ritual by Adam Nevill. When you have a group of friends going hiking in the woods and they start being attacked by some creature in the woods and they don't know who it is or what it is, but they're being attacked by a creature. It felt like that was an influence for this part of the story. The best moments in the book. There are other moments that are a bit horrifying as well, a bit frightening, but the best moments are those first moments in the woods. I can't go into more details of the plot or give too much away because that first attack, those first moments by this creature lead to different revelations and different things in the story. But overall, there's too much trauma in this story, too much trauma from the characters. I mean, every character having trauma, whether it's in the past or the present, just felt too much. Where's a bit of balance? Where's somewhere where we can have a break from that in the story? And I get the author's trying to put different themes in the book about grief, about trauma, about relationships between fathers and sons, all that sort of thing. I get that in the story. But I just want a bit of balance maybe. I kind of just wanted a creature horror in a way. I do enjoy creature horror. I enjoy creature horror when you don't know everything about the creature up front and you may learn more about it as you go on, which this book did. I enjoyed that a lot. But for me, I just wanted a stock standard horror. I didn't need the themes of trauma and things going on in the book as well. Even though they're done quite well, they're overdone though. So a bit of balance may have been better and may have made me feel differently about the story overall. There's also little chapters from the point of view on police officers investigating a scene at the end of events. They were okay. They kind of interrupted the flow for me. They took me out of that main story that was very dark, very atmospheric, very tense and gripping. And we had these interrupting chapters that pulled me out of that. And then we have this point of view from police officers investigating something at the end. So for me, I don't know, it just felt like the wrong way to do that. Maybe have those chapters at the end as a different section or something, and as part 2 of the story or something. I don't know, but I just felt interrupted, and I just felt like I was dragged out of those feelings I had about the story, those tense feelings when I was right in those scenes with that creature and things going on in the dark. I just felt like I was pulled out of that, and that whole engagement in the book decreased a bit because of that. But on the whole, in this story, I really enjoyed those creature horror moments. There's some great moments in that book, and I can see myself reading more from this author. I just think a bit more balance, tone certain things down a bit. Every character doesn't have to be the same in the story, because every character in this book kind of felt the same. So Harry, the first character of this group of characters we meet, and seems to be the main character in the story. And to be honest, all those main characters, those group of friends, they all kind of blended in together. They all felt the same in so many ways. But Harry just feels a little bit different. He feels a little bit balanced. He's still got his trauma and things going on in his background and everything, and his grief and all those things the other characters have as well. But he feels a little bit more centered in a way. It's not as heavy with Harry as with other characters. And his secret, because all these characters have secrets as well, his secret is the least kind of self-destructive as well. So he's a bit different in certain ways in the story. But in this book, the characters, while their grief and their trauma is exposed and explored to different degrees in the book, other parts of their personality, not so much. So in certain ways, they're just one-dimensional and sometimes a bit stereotypical of each other in the story. But I think in other ways, they're good characters and they suit the book. I do like Harry's reactions when those horror moments start happening, and that's when the characters are the strongest for me. Those moments where they're shocked and they're frightened and they're afraid, and you can feel that in the book. It's almost visceral. When that horror starts happening in the story. The best moments and the characters, I think, are used in the best way in those moments. The creature in this story, the creature in the woods, is a character in this book and a great character, and used so well, especially in those first moments. Those moments when you don't know what's going on. You just know something's happening. Something is attacking these people in the woods. You don't know what. It's that doubt. It's that fear. What's happening? Who is it? What is it? That creature is used so well, and I enjoyed those moments so much. More of that in this story would have been brilliant in my view. The things I enjoyed the most in this book are those creature horror moments. Those moments where the creature's attacking, you don't know what it is, you don't know what it looks like, you just know something out there in the dark, in the woods, is attacking people. The best moments in this book. And for that, I rate this a 3 out of 5. The horror elements in this story are so well done. Those elements about grief and trauma, well, I think they're important, and I think they were good for certain characters. I think it's just overdone. When every character is like the same in the story, when they've all got this grief and trauma, and there's no balance with characters that just don't have that grief and trauma, it's just overdone in my view. On my channel, I review many horrors. If you enjoy horror, check out my channel and subscribe. On the screen now is a link to a video of another book I'm sure you'll enjoy.